Dragon Age The Veilguard might be a lot better than we first assumed. There's some shiny new white Xboxes to get excited about, and a YouTuber gets elected to the European Parliament. I'm Matt Simpson, and this is Jinx News. Whilst the Xbox Showcase was an absolutely stellar example of how to build hype around game announcements, there was one trailer that left fans a little more underwhelmed. When BioWare showed off the brand new Dragon Age title called The Veilguard, it wasn't exactly what fans might have been hoping for. I mean, for one thing, we all thought it was going to be called Dragon Age Dreadwolf, an objectively far better name. But more importantly, the trailer they showed us did not inspire confidence. To be honest, the whole thing makes it look like Overwatch, but set in medieval Italy, with cartoony animations eerily reminiscent of Fortnite and a general tone that suggested the writers had watched far too many Marvel movies. It left fans with a sense of dread as to what the developers had done to their beloved franchise. But apparently, we weren't to be worried at all. A second extended gameplay trailer dropped yesterday, showing us just what this game actually is, and more importantly, what it isn't. It is a third-person action RPG. It is a single-player adventure with branching narratives and a cast of interesting characters. But it definitely isn't a grindy hero shooter with microtransactions and 7 different types of currency. Alongside this, a bunch of jammy journos got to see an even more extended gameplay presentation of Veilguard. Now, this was a hands-off experience, so we should be slightly wary, as devs do like to dictate exactly what people are and aren't seeing. But we did get some answers as to what all of us really care about in a BioWare game. Can you romance the main characters? And the answer to that is an absolute yes. In fact, it goes even further than that. Because if you decide not to partner up with certain characters in the game, they might go off and partner up with other main characters instead. So, just like in real life, you've got to put yourself out there before they leave you behind forever. The new Dragon Age is scheduled to release later this year, so it seems we won't have long to wait to try it out for ourselves. Did the gameplay trailer make you excited for Veilguard, or are you still hesitant after its initial showing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We got so bogged down with that absolute onslaught of games during the Xbox Showcase on Monday that we may have forgotten to mention that there are 3 new Xbox variants announced, all with new features, storage options, and convoluted names to confuse us all. So in the Series S department, there's a new robot white 1TB model. That's double the storage of before. Then when it comes to the Series X, we're actually getting 2 new additions. First, an all-new digital Series X, which is also fitted with 1TB of storage and a robot white finish. Do Microsoft think all robots look white, by the way? Only my recollection of Robot Wars as a child was very different.
Oh, but look at this, that's CO, no it's not CO2 mentioned, they're on fire I think!
Then there's the new special edition 2TB Galaxy Black version, although this one still has that lovely little disk drive. Which does beg the question, could this be the last ever Xbox that takes discs? I hope not, but with the heavy focus on Game Pass now, it is looking likely. Either way, all of those variants will be available at the end of this year in selected markets. But while the collection of incomprehensibly named Xboxes grows, that's not the only console news from Microsoft. Because Phil Spencer has been doing the rounds discussing handhelds, to which he said that he thinks they should have a handheld too. Now that's not too surprising. I mean, you only have to look at the units sold for the Switch or the Steam Deck to see why Phil would be envious. So at this point, an Xbox handheld seems, well, inevitable. But the question is, which direction do they go? It is Microsoft after all, so they clearly have the means to build a kitted out handheld. But PlayStation have decided to go full cloud with the Portal, and Xbox did mention that the cloud was in their future during their latest showcase. Then again, did anyone buy the Portal? Like, seriously, let me know if you did. I don't know anyone who has one. A YouTuber has been elected to the EU Parliament. Now, ordinarily, this would be pretty big news, a world first in fact. But what's even more balmy is that it might just be a big old prank. Cypriot content creator Phidias Panayiotou has publicly admitted that he doesn't even understand how the European Union works. And yet, he somehow managed to secure about 20% of the vote in the EU Parliament elections. By running on a campaign of claiming that he couldn't stand the rule of the nerds in Brussels, he's managed to snag himself a seat, which I'm not gonna lie is both hilarious and kind of terrifying. He said, "Today is an important day. not only for Cyprus, but possibly also for the entire world. This maybe means the world has reached a moment at which a new chapter in the book of democracy begins. Wow, that's some ego, isn't it? Some Cypriot election experts, who know far more than I do, are claiming that his victory was a rejection of the status quo in the country, and that a lot of people who usually spoil their votes or abstain voted for Panayotou, which does make a lot of sense. There are figures in the UK who also run under the same pretense, like the wonderful Count Binface.
I am the only candidate who is offering two price cap croissants at £1.10.
But A, Binface has never actually been elected, and B, at least he's politically aware and seems like a decent person.
I have seen the size of the asteroid coming your way.
You see, Panayotou has made a name for himself with slum tourism, basically exploiting the suffering of impoverished people for views. His video titles consist of things like, I spent 100 hours in the world's poorest country, and I spent 50 hours with hunter-gatherers. He also once travelled across India and Japan without paying, begging for money along the way. So yeah, I wouldn't say he's the most morally upstanding person in the world, although now that I think about it, that would make him the perfect politician. And that's it for today. We have a Patreon called Jinx Plus if you're able to support the channel. There's a whole bunch of other cool stuff on there too that you can check out. But of course, only if you can. It's tough out there right now, so no pressure. I'll see you on Friday for another round of Jinx News.